Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are. We are here today in beautiful Nova Scotia, Canada, coming at you with a 2020 versus 2019 video. I get questions quite often, what's your thoughts on the 2020 compared to the 2019 in different aspects. One of the questions I get asked all the time is, how do you find it tows compared to the 2019? The 2017 that I had? There's been some changes, guys. I mean, they look fairly similar. There's a couple little cosmetic changes, but the most of the changes are under the hood. So we're gonna answer a few of those questions today. But here is what we were looking at, guys. So we have my 2019 F350 XLT premium package, I think they call it. We have my 2020 F350 Platinum. So looking at these two trucks, yeah, you know what, you can tell a few differences cosmetically, but not a lot on the outside. I mean, the grill's changed. Obviously this is the Platinum versus an XLT, so there's some changes there. But the real change is under the hood. And I'll give you a quick peek under the hood in a second. You can notice a few things, but there's a lot more than meets the eye. So we have a 2019, which has 450 horsepower, 935 torque with a 6-speed transmission. Now to the 2020, we have 475 horsepower, 1050 torque out of a 10-speed transmission. All right, so let's start over here with the 2019. Here is the Power Stroke in all its confusing glory. There is a lot going on in this engine. But one thing that never made sense to me right from the get-go was the battery box being ahead of the air box. It just makes no sense whatsoever. I have no idea why they did it, but let's take a look at the 2020. Voila, look at this. A absolute straight shot for the air to get to the air box and then to get to the engine. All the aftermarket, or most of the aftermarket, cold air intakes for the 17s and 19s rerouted this. They changed this. They changed the battery to the back and the airbox to the front. 2020 they didn't. We also have some cast pieces as compared to plastic pieces. But what really changed? What really changed here, guys? So we have new injectors, we have a new fuel system, we have new pistons, we have a new turbo, and of course a 10-speed transmission. So what does that get you? The numbers look great, and according to the numbers, it gets you a lot. I can tell from experience, guys, having both these trucks, this truck is a lot quicker to response, and it is a hell of a fun time to drive this thing compared to this. This still has loads of power. I mean, we're still talking 450 horse, 935 torque. That's a lot. But this thing is just a whole nother beast, and unless you drive one, you're not gonna understand what I'm saying. So how does that translate to towing? Well, we're gonna find out. I have done an MPG comparison video on these two trucks before, but that was when I had factory tires on the 2020 and 35s on the 19. Well, now, as you can see, standing here staring at these two trucks, look at the height difference in the mirrors. The ground is sloped here a little bit, but this is factory with 35s, 2.5-inch level with 37s. So you got 37s on this. When I did that MPG video before with the stock tires, you guys said swap the tires and then let's see what the number is, because the MPG results on the 2020 were really good compared to the 2019. So today I am going to do a mileage test as well. I'm going to keep track of my distance, keep track of the fuel I use, and we will see. 2019 35s, 2020 leveling kit with 37s. So what are we going to tow? We are going to tow my dump trailer, which is right over here, and it is loaded up with some lumber. So the trailer itself, it's a 14,000 pound GVWR, and here is our payload, 9860. So the trailer itself weighs 4140. I'm gonna clear the snow off because that's adding some weight, but we have her stacked full of lumber. I am not sure on the exact weight, but I have a little trick up my sleeve as well. In a previous video, I showed you guys that Kurt Waywright scaling system that plugs into your OBD2 port. I'm going to give that a try today, and we will see what it shows for weights. Right out of the box, this truck here is roughly 300 pounds lighter than this truck. I'll show you guys the payload numbers actually, because everyone keeps asking what the payload is on the 2020. So the payload here on the 19 is 3623. These are both 11.5 GVWR trucks. And the payload on the 2020 is 3455, so 200 pounds roughly heavier this truck is as compared to the 2019. So here is the leveling kit that we have, ready lift leveling kit. Of course, it is a temporary system. We've got the 20x9 zero offset Dirty Life DT1s, and we have this truck equipped with the Firestone Ride Right 5000. It is a 2600 series, and I have the Airlift Wireless One compressor mounted right here. So we've got some goodies on this truck. I've got my old wheels in the back of this truck. My stock wheels are still on here, and my hockey gear. So we've got some weight back there, and on this truck we've got a toolbox and salt. So we're probably getting pretty close to the same weight on just the truck itself. But anyway guys, that is enough. Let's hook up to the trailer, get that snow cleared off, and get this show on the road. All right, so we're getting ready to take off. So I'm going to go fill the truck up, and then I'm going to go on the run, fill the truck up at the end, and we'll see what we got going on here. Engine light is because I've calibrated the tire size, but I haven't been able to clear the code yet using FORScan. And I have downed the pressure because I keep the pressure lower in my 19 while snow plowing. So I actually down the pressure in the tires so people can't say, hey, well, you know what, you've got lower pressure in the 19s than you do in the 2020. So I'm eliminating all those arguments and variables, guys. So what I have going on, I have the Kurt Way Better, I think it's called, hooked up to the truck. It's never been hooked up, so I'm actually in the process of calibrating it right now. So I'll probably be like a while along the road, and I'll be able to get an idea of how much the trailer actually weighs. But I'm thinking somewhere between 8,000 to 10,000 pounds total combined with the trailer and the lumber. But let's go. We are off. Going to reset my trip. So I have recalibrated the tire size on this truck. As I mentioned, that is the reason why the engine light is on. So I'm going to use the mileage off of this truck because the mileage is not quite right on my 19. So I'll use the mileage on this truck for both trips that we're going to be doing here right now. So if you watched the channel before, you'll be familiar with this route, except I'm going to be getting on the highway up here versus driving along the water and getting on the highway. So right now I have 80 pounds of air in my airbags, and the truck is basically sitting back level again. I'm not sure about this Kurt thing yet. It's still trying to, it's telling me to start and stop a bunch of times, and I don't want to mess up my fuel mileage test. So hopefully just naturally driving along the road, the thing will calibrate itself. And also on top of that, hopefully you don't have to do that every time that you hook up to a load. Hopefully once it sort of configures to your truck, then it's much easier for it to get the weight, because it uses like the force of you starting and stopping and all that sort of stuff. That's what it uses to like calibrate itself. Anyway, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it will give us an idea of exactly what we're towing, but I do think, I mean, we're somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 pounds. There is some weight back there, that's for sure. It's rough cut lumber, it's a heavy load, it's a good sized load, so there is some weight back there. But guys, don't worry, I will be hooking up to my gooseneck very soon and doing a towing test with my gooseneck with this truck with the 19 on back of the trailer, and we'll be at about 18,000 pounds. So give you an idea of how the truck does on a level with 37s. All right, so we're merging on the highway. I'm not going to completely hammer on the truck, but I'm going to accelerate, you know, how I normally would. But if I do want to accelerate, loads and loads of power. Like, we are up to speed just like that. So I am going to set the cruise control at 63 miles per hour, but of course that depends on what people in front of us are doing. But here we are on the highway doing, you know, 63 miles per hour right now with 37-inch tires on a ready lift 2.5-inch leveling kit system with airbags in the back, towing somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 pounds, and it feels really, really good. So if you are new to the channel, this is not my permanent lift system. This was temporary to be able to fit the 37s and to get an idea if a level look is what I want, or if I want to go higher. So this is temporary, but it's not bad. It drives pretty good, but I know a full leveling or lift system from Carly, BDS, FabTech, you know, one of those guys, it will be much, much better. There's no doubt about that. This road section right here is absolutely terrible. So it's not like the truck is rough, it's just this section is brutal. But we have a decent little trip today. We've got a lot of elevations, that's for sure. If you are new, there's a ton of elevations on this trip. The whole trip basically is up and down, up and down, up and down. So we just shifted from 10th to 9th, and then from 9th to 7th, because the vehicle in front of us was going slow, and now they decided to speed up. They're probably slowing down because of that section of road back there. So now the truck is in 7th gear. We're at about 2,000 RPM. 8th gear, say 1,800 RPM, pulling the hill, no problem whatsoever. So a lot of people, you know, were asking me, how does it feel towing compared to the 2019? A noticeable power gain in this truck compared to my 2019. I also own a 2017 F250. There is a noticeable power gain in these new 2020s, guys. The second you get behind the wheel of one, you will notice it. But we're gonna see how that translates into fuel mileage. And obviously, if we had factory tires on this truck, or even 35s on this truck, it would help. But I'm very curious to see how this truck does with 37s and a leveling kit versus stock height with 35s in 2019. If you missed my video that I posted with this truck in stock form, towing the 18,000 pound, my gooseneck and my 2019, the truck did great as far as power wise goes. I would probably lock out 10th gear if I was going to be towing, you know, just on a regular basis. But for the purpose of the video, I just let the truck do its thing. But if I was going to be towing, you know, just not on camera, not testing the truck, I'd probably lock out 10th gear, because I did find that the truck held 10th too long, and then it would try to it had to speed up really quick, so it would skip 9th altogether, and that shift from 10th to 8th was a little bit rough. But the power wise was great. It's a very steep grade right now. It dropped down to 8th gear to keep us at the speed we want to be. The downshifting and the engine brake, exhaust brake has improved for sure, but it does have a little ways to go. I don't find that it is as good as the Cummins with the engine brake yet. It's definitely improved, but it has a little ways to go. I'm in these grades right now in 9th gear. We're at 1,500 RPM, 37-inch tires. And there is some weight back there. There is. Hopefully this thing will calibrate and give us an idea. But I think we're definitely at the 10,000 pound weight for sure. Just by the way it felt when I brought it home that day too from my father's place with the 2019. I'd say we're 10,000 pounds and maybe a little bit above. So this hill here coming up, this will be the second steepest and longest hill that we'll hit. We'll get one really good one on the way back. But let's just see how the truck does on this hill right here. We're in 10th gear right now at the bottom of the hill. Clear sailing in front of us. I have increased the speed probably about 7 or 8 miles ago for sure now, up to 65 miles per hour. So we are starting to lose a bit of speed right now. Straight down to 8th, and that was actually extremely smooth. And that's something that I wanted to tell you guys was, On my the last time I used this truck, the truck was like really new. It now has 2,200 miles on it, and I don't know if the transmission is learning or what's going on, but I can tell you right now that shift from 10th to 8th is extremely smooth now. Extremely smooth. You don't even really feel it. So here we are, we're at about 17, now we're about 1,800 RPM, and my ears just popped. It gives an idea of our elevation. We're in 8th gear, 1,800 RPM, and it just goes. 8th gear, man, it takes off in 8th gear like really well. Up to 9th, another very smooth shift, and up to 10th, you didn't even feel that. Like, you didn't even feel that. But yeah, a huge improvement. Time will, I mean, when I do tow my my gooseneck and my 19, when I am at 18,000 pounds with this truck, I will see how that shift feels from 10th to 8th. But man, that felt extremely smooth. That's the second or third time that the truck has done that while climbing a grade, and it was a very smooth transition. Basically, I've been clipping along here in 10th gear the whole time at 1,450 RPM, 1,500 RPM, just cruising along. But we are reaching our halfway point right here. We've traveled 24.2 miles right now, and we're at, according to the truck, we're averaging 10.2 MPG. So I'm gonna loop around, we'll catch that one big hill on the way back, and then we'll head to the pump and fill this thing up. So, here comes the big one. And unfortunately, it seems like every time I hit this hill, I've got people in front of me going extremely slow. That's not what I want. I don't want to be going extremely slow coming into a big hill. But man, is the adaptive cruise ever fun and ever awesome to have. Even towing wise, man, like, it is awesome. I never gotta worry about starting and speeding up, slowing down, speeding up. Anyway, we're in 10th gear, losing speed to 8th. Again, that shift was so smooth. And look at this thing take off in 8th gear. Like, it just takes off in 8th gear. It is unreal. So much power in 8th. And 8th is still technically an overdrive gear. 8th, 9th, and 10th are overdrive gears. But I mean, here we go. Right now we're averaging 10.7 MPG, according to the truck. $1,800 RPM. It just went to 9th, which I wish it wouldn't have done. But we've got this person in front of us going slow, but I don't want to go blowing by them. But we could. We're down to 90 right now. Now we went to 7th. Again, that was a shift from 9th to 7th. Extremely smooth. Extremely smooth. Man, this thing takes off. Alright, major hill climbs are done. Let's get to the pump. Oh, we took 18.77 liters of fuel. I will convert this to MPG and 2 liters per 100, of course. The truck says 10.9 MPG, 49.7 miles, 79.9 kilometers, 21.5 liters per 100. All right, here we are in the 2019. We just filled up. Let's zero this thing out. Not that this is gonna what we use, but we'll see what the truck says, and we will see what the pump says. Let's go. So here we are merging onto the highway just like last time, just getting up to speed normally, but I am gonna give it some gas just like I did to the 2020. I mean, we're going, but we're not going as fast as we were in the 2020 right now. Still lots of power, obviously, but my foot is to the floor. In the 2020, it was not. Okay, so we're gonna set it to 63 miles per hour for the first little bit, just like in the 2020, and then we will change it to 65 miles per hour. And let's see what takes place here. Like I said, I've driven both these trucks. They are both my trucks. I don't care which one gets better fuel mileage. I'm not trying to get better fuel mileage in either truck. And as far as power goes, again, like, I don't really care. I'm just telling you guys what I experienced firsthand. And the 2020 has huge upgrades in power and response time. And the transmission, it seems like it's learning or something, because it is super smooth now with its downshifts towing compared to what it was the first time I used it. But let's catch a couple of those hills. It's all I'm going to film in this truck, and let's see what the number is. Here we are hitting the second of the big hills. In the 2020, it was able to do it in 8th gear. We were at about 1800 RPM. Right now we got clear sailing again. We're in 6th gear right now. So in the 2020, 7th is the 1-to-1 gear, 8, 9, and 10 are overdrive. In the 2019, 4th is 1-to-1, and 5th and 6th is overdrive. Oh, we're starting to slow down here right now. Okay, down to 5th. We're at 1800 RPM. So in the 2020, when it shifted to 8th, we climbed back up to 65 miles per hour very quickly. We're in 5th right now. It is slightly accelerating. My ears just popped, pretty much in the same spot as last time. We are accelerating, but we're not accelerating. We didn't accelerate at the speed that we did in the 2020. But, you know, man, just give you guys a view. You guys can see the ocean out there. That's a little pond, but way out there's the ocean. Yeah, the 2020, definitely when it dropped down to 8th, it had more punch. That is absolutely for sure. This truck will more than tow what you need. Like, this truck still has loads of power. I love towing with it. I loved towing with my 17. The 2020 just has that extra pull, guys. But we are getting close to our exit right now. We're coming up to it. We are at 8.6 MPG according to the truck. In the 2020, I think we were at like 10.1 right now or something, but obviously we're not going to go with this because the speedometer is off on this, and we're doing pump to pump. So let's get looped around. We'll catch that one big hill, and we'll get to the pump. So forward. Yeah, I got a big load. All right, here we go. We're hitting the big one. We got pretty smooth sailing and stuff for this little dinky car here in front of us. Hopefully they don't go too slow, but looks like we got some smooth sailing here. So here we go. We're at 65 miles per hour. We are hitting this in 6th gear right now. So let's see what happens. The 2020 did this in 8th gear and then actually went up to 9th at one point in time because the vehicle in front of us slowed down. So here we go. We are just getting into the hill right now. We are starting to lose a little bit of speed, but it really gets steep right up basically where that car is right now. So here is where it really starts to take a climb. And you can see the truck slowing down. So bam, down to 5th, nice smooth shift. 1800, 1900 RPM. 5th gear is going to do it no problem. So, you know, when you think about it, 8th gear, a little less RPM, a little more acceleration in the 2020, but in this truck it drops down 1 gear. It's still in its overdrive gear, its last overdrive gear, in which 8th gear is in the 2020. Basically pretty much doing the same thing. We're up to speed now, no problem. Just crested the top of the hill. So obviously both trucks will do it, no problems whatsoever. They're pretty similar as far as towing with the 37s on the 2020. With the stock wheels on the 2020, it would be just blowing up those hills. Like, it absolutely would. But the big number is going to be at the pump. So can a 2020 with a 10-speed transmission leveled on 37s possibly be easier on fuel than a stock 2019 on 35s? That is the question we're going to answer here in a couple minutes. All right, so we just did the full loop. I just showed you the amount at the pump because the receipt like cut most of it off. But here's what the truck says, 9.4 MPG. All right, guys, so we are back. The test is complete. If you can do quick math, you can figure out which truck did better, but I will give the numbers to you right now. So in the 2020, we used 18.77 liters of fuel. We traveled 79.9 kilometers. That works out to be 23.49 liters per 100, which is 10.01 US MPG. The truck said 10.9, so very, very, very close. So the truck was very close to being correct. In the 2019, we used 20.39 liters, so we used more. Same distance, of course. It worked out to be 25.52 liters per 100 and 9.22 MPG. So the 2020 with 37-inch wheels and a leveling kit did better on fuel than the 2019 with 35-inch and stock height. That is pretty impressive. 37-inch tires. I mean, the thing just pulled. 8th gear, it just took off. Loads of power, and yeah, it's more efficient. You know, you think about if they were running the stock tires or even 35s, stock height, no leveling kit, it would have been considerably better. But 37-inch tires to do that good, that's really, really impressive. But anyway, guys, that is it. I know a lot of guys have been asking for this video, so there it is. As always, if you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for tons more videos coming. We've got some goodies in for this thing right here, so stay tuned for that. But that is it for now, guys. So take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.